Okay, so you're tuning in here because you're on part one, question number two, and you're confused. Maybe you're confused by the question, okay? So the first thing I'm going to have you do is you're going to use cubes and go back and reread it. If you've already used cubes, I want you to go back and reread it, okay? Remember, cubes, circle the important numbers. Underline the question or task. B is box the action math words. E is evaluate the problem. Tell what does it say? And S is solve with strategies, okay? So right now I want you to pause the video and go back and use cubes, or if you already did use cubes, go back and reread it and see if you can really make sense of it. And I mean it. Pause the video, then come back. Did you do it? Perfect. Let's move on. You could just watch it and say, yeah, I did it, and I still said perfect. But we're going to keep moving on, okay? Because we talked about you want to have integrity. This is here to help you, okay? It's more about the process. All right, so this question has a lot in it, okay? So what do we know? Okay, well, we circled he has 12 boxes of ballpoint pens. Okay, we also said that each box has 12 pens in it. Those are important numbers. Another important number is he wants to make sure that each student gets 5 pens, and we got to see if he has enough. Okay, so we have a lot of important things going on. Now, what is the task? The task is asking us, did Mr. Burton order enough boxes? The next part. Explain why or why not. So many people will do all this beautiful math, but they will forget to explain their answer. Okay, so we're going to make sure we're looking at that and moving forward. All right, so let's just kind of make sense of it. So you've gone through, you underlined it, boxed your math action words. You should have ordered each box and enough, and then underlining the task. There's actually 2 of them. There's a question, did Mr. Burton order enough? And explain why or why not. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my sentence frame for what my answer should look like. Okay, and now I don't know my answer yet, but I can still start my sentence frame, and that's going to remind me to come back to it at the end, because if I have just a blank there and I don't have anything filled in, you're like, whoa, I forgot to do this. So it forces you to go back. Okay, so I'm going to write Mr. Burton, and I'm going to leave it blank. Okay, and I actually want you to pause it and try to write your sentence frame. So please go do that, and then come back. All right, so Mr. Burton, and it's going to be a blank. Either did or did not is going to go in there. Order enough pens. Period. That doesn't answer everything. That gets the first part. Did he order enough? Yeah, we're going to say yes or no. Then it says explain. I know this because, and leave it blank. That's what we're going to figure out or tell why we know it, telling the strategy we use, talking about the process. Okay, so you have your sentence frame. Now we got to make sense of the problem. Okay, well, let's ignore the numbers first and just kind of evaluate it. Let's talk about it. I'm really going to focus on this E for the video. Okay, we'll get into the S, which is the strategies, with the next video. Okay, but this one, let's see. Okay, he ordered some pens. We're going to have to figure out that number. Okay, but we're not figuring that out now. And then he splits them between students. Okay, so he orders some pens and he splits them between students. Okay? All right. He has a certain amount that the students want, and did the students get enough? That's basically what we have to figure out. Now we're just going to put some numbers in there, okay? So I can make it really easy. Let's say he had, well, remember, we have to remember from last one, there were 32 students. That's why this is a performance test. It builds off the last one. It's not a whole new class. But if I was using some really easy numbers, okay, and said he ordered 10 boxes. Each one had 10 pens. So how many pens did he have total? Yes, he had 100. Okay, and he had 50 kids in his class. And he wanted each kid to get 3 pens. Well, if he has 50 kids and only 100 pens, are they all going to get 3 pens? No. That's basically what this problem is saying. They're just using more difficult numbers. Okay? So that kind of just helps me. I always make the problem into like a simpler problem, something that I could solve just like really easy. This is great when you see fractions and decimals. Just make it easy numbers so you know what the problem's asking. All right? All right, next video is going to be about strategies. So this was about understanding the problem. I'll see you next time.